Here's a bulletin from CBS News. The incident was this.
I got so sick of how Dave kept treating me and Theodore and Simon. I just cracked. To anyone who finds my journal, it's being hidden for a purpose. And as you continue reading, you will find out why it was hidden from everybody. Nobody in my cell, nobody in the prison, not even my own attorney knew that I had written down my thoughts. I would do this at night after the other inmates had fallen asleep. And I would hide it before they even woke up. Because I had to say this to somebody. And I couldn't tell it to anybody else. Because none of them really even cared for me to begin with. From the day that I was incarcerated here at San Quentin, they all hated me because they truly believed who I kept saying I was. I kept telling them I did it for money. And that's true, I did. But I was not Alvin the Chipmunk. I never intended for this to be anything except a contract, a job. But I sure did think that my employers would stand by me. I never thought I would take the rap for even this bungled attempt that I made to shoot Dave Seville. And that's what it was. It was a bungled effort. It never resulted in what they had hired me to do. I thought I was a better shot than what it ended up being at the very end. So I really had failed myself more than I had actually failed the organization. What do I mean by organization? Well, I'll get into that in a minute. First thing I want to start off my journal is to say to anybody who finds it, my real name is Alfonso Gorkin. I'm an American citizen. But where I came from is not really important. All I can say, without implicating any of the members of my family, is that I came here to do a job. I was hired by a secret organization. They were contracted by Peter Pan Industries. They themselves even had ties to organized crime, and that's a part of the organization. But I'm not going to implicate the entire group by giving names, at least of them. All I'm going to say is that the organization hired me to come into the United States. They did various things to me. Plastic surgery. They altered my voice. All kinds of things. Because they intended for me to infiltrate within EMI and Capitol Records. My contract was one thing. Infiltrate and extinguish Dave Seville at any cost. The longer I stayed in the group setting, the more easier it got. Because I knew how easy it would be to kind of conform to any of the rules that they had already preset. Alvin, the real one, was taken out long before they placed me in the position that I had. I didn't ask questions of what they might do with the original. All I knew was that I was being put there for a reason, and once the contract was explained, I had all the information I needed. I didn't ask anything else. I just went straight forward to the assignment ahead of me. As the days got closer to the actual scheduled termination date, I acquired a gun from the organization. They said it was actually retrieved from the original's home, and so I began using it to practice with. Going out to a test range, possibly twice a week. Try to get concise aim with it, because even though it was a pistol, it had its flaws, and it was hard for me to hold sometimes. So I would just keep practicing with it until I got it correct, and I knew what I was going to have to do with it. And when I felt confident enough that it wouldn't slip out of my hand, I just went forward with the assignment. And it was an ironic fact that we had to go in on Christmas Day to do the album completion, because they were running behind schedule for the past month. Constant bickering that I created with Dave Seville to just get him more and more agitated. That was a part of the assignment, was to keep them all in really a confused mentality. They wouldn't know what was happening until it was too late. And then I would sling forward with my assigned task and get it over with. The organization told me once I had finished, it wasn't to resist. They said I would get all the legal advice and assistance that I needed. But actually they said when the contract was set up that I would be ushered out quickly. And without implicating any particular person, I would say that in that aspect it failed, because there was nobody who got me out of the building after I shot Dave. So they knew pretty soon afterwards that my whole assignment was botched. I had messed it up big time. I was in the county jail, and those cops kept asking me questions all the time about why did I do this. And I knew my assignment. I wasn't to talk to anybody, so I didn't. Then I kept hearing reports about Dave was not dead. He was fatally wounded. And then over the months that followed my incarceration, the inmates began to laugh it off that Dave was totally okay. He was going to make it. And then I knew my days were numbered, because they couldn't afford to have me around. I didn't know how long it would be before they decided to do what they were going to do to me, but I just went with the plan. I figured when the time's right, they're going to get me out of here. But I was wrong. The longer I stayed in this place, the longer it became waiting it out. The more I realized that there is no cavalry coming to my rescue. They knew I had failed my mission, and they weren't going to give me any help. And that's exactly what happened. Even the defense attorney who represented me during the trial, he was a joke. He was a public defender that they had hired. Or at least if it was sent by the organization for that purpose to help me, it was It was a joke in itself. He tried to prove that I was mentally insane and incompetent. And every chance he had, he fumbled the ball. He just left it. Never tried to pick it up and prove anything else. So they were feeding me to the wolves from the beginning. Beyond Peter Pan Industries, I don't want to implicate anybody else other than those probably who are involved at that level, because those were the people I talked to when they placed me into this assignment within EMI. All of these big shot music industry people, they know who they need to contact within other rival music companies to get contacts and get whatever they need. They want to place you into a situation like they got me. They knew who to contact. They knew they would be able to do that without any problem. When my journal is found, I'm sure y'all going to be looking for names. So, here's the first one. Bob Kilpatrick. He's the top man at Peter Pan Industries. He was my main contact when I started this assignment. He told me, you need help with anything, you call me first. You don't call anybody else. I'll get everything you need. And he was so right. He did. If I had problems with Dave, or if I had problems with anybody at EMI, I didn't have to contact anybody within the company. I called him, and before I could even blink my eye, he was already on top of it. I can remember I tried to call him as the one only contact I made after I was in jail. And you know what? That man never answered that phone. He never called me back. I remember trying to tell the other inmates during the trial, I'm not Alvin, I'm somebody else. They just laughed. They didn't believe it. I even tried to give out the names of the people I knew.